Could you send it to me in an email?
How to handle this objection like a pro at the early stages of discovery. You call a qualified lead, explain why you're calling, what you do, and ask if they'd like to hear more. But instead of continuing the conversation, they attempt to end it with a request for more information.
Even though they are usually saying this objection to end the conversation, it presents an opportunity to understand if they are just being polite and want out, or if they're actually interested. After all, if you qualify the lead properly, you will have reason to believe that they have a need for what you are offering.
In this video, we'll find out how to turn an objection into an agreement for a meeting. Let's hear what line from a salesperson, after their initial sales pitch, usually prompts this objection.
Would you like to hear more?
Actually, could you send it to me in an email?
First, you want to work out why are they making this objection.
99 times out of 100, they say this objection for one of three possible reasons. By far the most common, they just want to get off the phone, but don't want to be impolite. They aren't the decision maker, but rather than give you the name and number of the person who is, they can avoid unnecessarily bothering their colleague. They are genuinely interested, but for whatever reason, would prefer to review the information in an email.
Whichever reason it is, you should give exactly the same response.
Yeah, absolutely. But before you give me your email, I just wanted to ask you one question to make sure I'm sending you the right information and I'm not wasting your time.
Okay, sure. What's the question?
With this response, you're indicating you want to take as little of their time as possible, which they'll appreciate, tackling all three reasons simultaneously and awakening their curiosity, if it's there.
If they're trying to get off the phone, they might be triggered to stay on, giving you a chance to discover the potential of their curiosity. If they're not the decision maker, you'll likely find this out with whatever qualifying questions you ask next. If they are genuinely interested, their response will validate it.
However, you have to ask the right qualifying question to make sure the conversation is going in the desired direction. It needs to be a question that allows you and the lead to understand the main value of your business and if it matters to them at all. Again, as we did in the I'm not interested objection video. Let's use Pipedrive as an example. However, any salesperson, no matter what they're selling, can benefit from this approach.
When you think about your salespeople, do you feel they are as focused as they should be on generating more leads and converting them to new customers?
Did you notice the pause? This is all about pacing. You don't want to ask too quickly or too slowly. A measured mini pause at this point triggers the lead to think about their salespeople.
If you know the main value of your product to your customers, you should ask directly if this reality is one that your lead cares about. Connect the main value of what you offer to the main value or impact that every business customer cares about, their revenue. It's best done in a framework of a closed question that elicits either an affirmative or a negative response.
In this script, we've qualified the lead, so we're expecting an affirmative response. But if the response is negative, like,
I don't know.
Or,
I'm not the best person to talk to about this.
you may have either found someone who has no need for your product or someone who isn't a decision maker. If they're not the decision maker, you should approach this conversation in a different way from here on. However, if the lead has confirmed the question is relevant to them, now's the time to propose a meeting for further exploration.
I think they're doing quite a good job, but in an ideal world, yes, they could be more focused. There's always room for improvement.
That's really interesting. When we've rolled out our solutions with customers, we've seen that their whole sales team becomes more focused on generating prospects and converting them to customers, which obviously leads to better sales numbers. In my experience, it takes a short in-person meeting to understand your needs and our solution together, and I would hate to waste your time with anything but the best next step. If you're open to it, then this is what I propose. Let's take 20 to 30 minutes. I can come to your office and we can see pretty quickly if we have something you're interested in, or if we should just stop right there. What do you think?
Let's assume that your approach works and your lead is curious enough to meet. In order to get the commitment to the next step, offer a few time ranges.
Okay, if you say that we can keep it under 20 minutes, we can meet.
Fantastic. Listen, if not anything else, my goal is to make this a valuable conversation. I have 3 times when I'm available next week: Tuesday between 1 and 4, Wednesday between 3 and 5, and Friday morning until noon. Which would work best for you?
Keeping your lead on the phone after they've tried to finish the conversation with the objection, "Can you send me an email?" is the best indication that they're a potential customer with a need for your product. All you need to focus on is asking the right questions so they're more likely to agree to a 20 to 30 minute meeting.
It's important to practice running this dialogue though, because tapping into a lead's natural curiosity won't necessarily always end with the same results. Luckily, our natural curiosity is very often the starting point of something great, something that otherwise would not have happened at all.
If you want to find out more about how to tackle common objections you're likely to face in sales, you can read more about it in our blog right now.